Okay, Kubrick Lover 1972 here, back with some more Japanese movies. Let's see, where do we go from here? Okay, so this one, I can't, um, I don't know if I watched all of this. Um, it's a winner of the best foreign film at the Academy Awards and best costume design. Um, I remember liking it a lot. It's got a nice cover. It's called Gate of Hell. And the directors, I hope I'm saying this, Tiano Ti Tai Tainosuke Tainosuke Kinugasa. I don't know. I said I know Japanese, but I don't know. I don't know all these things. Maybe I don't pronounce it correctly, but I mean, like, I think Tokyo is supposed to be said like Tokyo, Tokyo, like that. But that's the nice. This is a nice artwork here. This chapters there, and just some text there. So nothing fancy, really. This just has the film, and it's got an essay by film historian Stephen Prince. So, all right, next up we got some Kobayashi, and I don't know if Kobayashi's Masaki Kobayashi. I'm not sure if he's really an American, and he this is his Japanese name. I'm not sure. I think I've heard that. This is an early edition of Kwai-Dan. It's not the newer edition. This is a bunch of horror movies, I believe. It says it won the special jury prize at Cannes. And it's like 4 different stories. It says adapted from traditional Japanese ghost stories. So, and I think I recall liking this. I haven't seen it for quite some time. I think the writing on the guy's face is maybe for spells or curses, or I don't know. I can't remember. But I think I recall liking it. So, the next up is a really good movie. It's a long movie. I think it's about 9 hours. And so this is the DVD edition, and it's got 4 discs. It's called The Human Condition, and it's about a pacifist Japanese man. In the first part of the story, he's works at a Chinese POW camp in Manchuria. Second part, he's a soldier. He's forced to be a soldier in the Japanese army because of his conduct towards his Chinese towards the Chinese prisoners he was, treating, and he treated them well. He believed they deserved dignity, and the Japanese didn't really care for that, so they put him in the army. And then the third part of the film, he and his fellow soldiers are put into a Soviet POW camp. In the end, it's kind of depressing, but I don't mind depressing movies. I mean, it's not for everybody. I guess when people don't like depressing movies, but I really love depressing movies. So, but anyways, oops, something just fell out. A booklet, I believe. Oops, it fell again. I got it now. Okay. So it's got these nice pictures. That's, I believe it must be the Soviet camp because I see the hats have those flaps coming down So I think those are Japanese soldiers there. I thought they were Chinese, but turns out I think they're Japanese. And so it's got 4 discs here. And supplements on the 4th disc. Just my landscape there. But it's a really good movie, but you've got to put some time aside to watch it, you know. Or I guess you could watch it in parts, you know. So then there's this, is it a booklet? Well, no, it's just like a pamphlet, you know. So, okay, so next up is a Masaki Kobayashi Eclipse box set. I haven't watched any of these movies. It's called Masaki Kobayashi Against the System. So it's got 4 movies. I'll show you the cover there. The back. So we got the thick-walled room. That looks interesting, that photo right there. And then I Will Buy You. It looks like baseball, which Japan, I think, really likes. Japanese people really enjoy baseball. Oh, I'm sorry, Black River and The Inheritance. So I look forward to watching these. I got a lot of movies I own and stuff I'm borrowing from people. Then I got Netflix, and I've got another streaming service called Mubi that shows like cult, foreign, independent, old, new films, you know. So anyways, but here's the next one. Another one by Masaki Kobayashi called Harakiri, which is a form of suicide in samurai Japan. I believe it's where you disembowel yourself with a short sword, your companion sword, and a second, you know, another samurai cuts your head off at the same time, something like that. And Kobayashi's like protesting against that way of thinking. He doesn't find it noble at all. Tatsuya Nakada, I believe, is in this. Yeah. So he's asked to commit suicide, and he's not going to go for it. So got an interview in here, some text. So it's a good movie. And next we have, I think these are all the same filmmaker, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, and I didn't know until recently. This is a good movie. It's a horror movie. It's by a director named Kaneto Shindo, and this one's called Kuroneko, which might mean something like ghost or something like that. I'm not sure. It's a good movie. At the start of the movie, there's this this mother and her daughter-in-law, I believe it's her daughter-in-law, there's her son, the husband, has left to fight in Japan, and they're left there, and they're invaded by a bunch of samurai, and they're burned burned alive in their straw hut, but they get their revenge, and I think they get their revenge, and then there's some interesting special effects, and you see that, you know, like they're shapeshifters or whatever, you know. So, really good movie. Highly recommended. And I haven't watched this film in quite some time, you know. Oh, by the way, there's I don't know if I showed this a second ago, but looks like bamboo trees. So, okay. Next we got a film called Onibaba. It's about this, maybe it's a mother and a son or something. It's samurai times again. They find a mask, and the mask like does things to them or for them, or I can't remember exactly, but maybe it makes them do things that are really objectionable behavior, but it's a good movie. Next, we have a film called Double Suicide by Shinoda. And this film is kind of interesting because the main characters at a certain point in the film become puppets. And you see these people dressed in black moving the puppets. And the puppetry of Japan is called Banraku or Banreiku. And but just telling the story, I think it's supposed to be by the title, a depressing story, if I'm not mistaken. But I could be mistaken, so, you know. I haven't watched it in quite some time. And then the last one I should notice we had is one called Pale Flower. I think it involves gambling. And I can't remember it that well. And excuse me if I, don't read what the films are about. I'm just trying to rifle through these, trying to get through all these. I'm not saying that I'm going to get through all these, not just Japanese, but my whole collection, like within a week, or I don't know, maybe even a month or a few months. I'm just, trying to go off at a steady clip and show as much as I possibly can, maybe, Oops. I always get confused. I'm not doing good on that. There we go. There we go. So that's all the Shinoda films right there. So that's that. And next up, looks like I can finish. I think I can finish all my Japanese movies. So here's with this video, I think I can finish. I think I'm about halfway through. I think I'm gonna go for 30 minutes on this video. I think I can load it up to YouTube. Nikatsu Noir, and Nikatsu, like Nihon or Nippon, or it means Japan in their language, in Japanese language, whereas we call it Japan. These are cool. These are kind of interesting. Maybe one of them I didn't like that much, but I haven't watched these in a while, but these are good. I'm Waiting, Rusty Knife, Take Aim at the Police Van, Cruel Gun Story, and A Cult is My Passport. And one of them involves an American actor and like a reference to the Kennedy assassination. So I don't remember which one it was. And I think there's like Yakuzas in here, which are like Japanese mafia. Japanese mafia. Okay, so let's see what's next. Okay, next I have a box set I've been watching. I haven't been watching it for a little while, but I watched the first 2 films so far. Oh, I'll show the cover. When Horror Came to Shochiku, which is a movie studio. Maybe, I'm not sure if it's still in existence or not. But the first one's X from Outer Space. It's sort of like Godzilla. And this one's called Goki, Body Snatcher from Hell, which is about like a person that their body gets infiltrated by an alien form and makes them do things that, maybe kill, But I haven't watched this one, Living Skeleton. And last one's called Genocide, which I haven't watched as well. Okay. So next up we got, this is a good movie. Really the last 2/3 of the movie are better. The first third is kind of, I don't know. It's called Jugoku. I think it means hell in Japanese. And if you look, let's see. Maybe it's not on the cover. Oh no, it's on the back. See those people there? Like demons or whatever. I think that's interesting artwork, So anyways, the characters on Earth go to hell, and the studio that made this movie went out of business. I think this film did not do well at the box office, but it shows various places of hell and what happens to people in hell, and I found it a really entertaining movie and a lot of fun to watch. I haven't watched it in quite some time, but in fact, when I went to the Halloween marathon, the Jacob Burns Film Center, they showed that there this past October. So nice illustrations, I think, on this box set. They did a nice job. Next one, it's a trilogy of movies. It's about a famous samurai of Japan named Miyamoto Musashi, and it stars Toshiro Mifune. First one's called Samurai 1 Musashi Miyamoto because, in Japan you say the last name first. Second one is Samurai 2 Duel at Ichijoji Temple. And the third one's Samurai 3 Duel at Sanrio Island. So shows a cast and the credits, and I think there's a picture here. Yeah, there we go. And by the way, this guy that it's based on, he wrote this book of 5 rings, which where he tells about like strategy, sort of like similar to the Chinese philosopher Sun Tzu, who wrote the book The Art of War, And And you can also see that in Japan and China, they're like linked together in their history, and that, like Buddhism was brought from China. So, I mean, it's very important to understand Chinese history as well, because how it influences Japan. And Korea, to a degree as well, I think is what is important. Next up, these are films by Shohei Imamura. This one's called Vengeance is Mine. It's based on a true story about a serial killer, I think in the 70s. And he's there's a neat scene where he's with his father during World War II times, and the Japanese military take his father's boat or whatever, and he sort of like harbors that resentment in his mind, But he's masquerading as other people, and it's a pretty good movie. So that's Vengeance is Mine. And I think I can finish this in less than 30 minutes. Next up is a box set. It's 3 films by Shohei Imamura. The box set is called Pigs, Pimps, and Prostitutes. And it's got a picture of pigs on the front. I remember one of these involved U.S. soldiers. So first of all, we got Pigs and Battleships. And I think this might have been a critique of America infringing upon Japan. I'm not sure. Insect Woman, maybe a woman that gets taken advantage of. I can't remember exactly. And Intentions of Murder. So that's Pigs, Pimps, and Prostitutes. And it's got conversations between Shohei Imamura and critic Tadao Sato, about the Insect Woman and Intentions of Murder. Imamura, the Free Thinker, a 1995 episode of the French television series Cinéma de Notre Temps, interviews with renowned critic and historian Tony Raines on all 3 films. So you got that. So, and then the last one, I do have a few other Japanese films. I have a huge box set. I'll tell you what it is. It's the Zatoichi box set, but we'll get to that when I get to that part of the collection, because that's sort of my box sets. So when we get there, I'll show you that. But next up is Pornographers. I don't know if it really has any pornography, or maybe there's a little sexuality in it, but I don't know if it's really graphic sexuality. And I think it might be a metaphor for something. Not sure if it exactly means pornographers, like in this traditional sense. I can't, I just can't remember. But yeah, so, well, since I have a little time, I'll read this. Subu makes pornographic films. He sees nothing wrong with it. They are an aid to a repressed society, and he uses the money to support his landlady, Haru, and her family. From time to time, Haru shares her bed with Subu, though she believes her dead husband, reincarnated as a carp, disapproves. Director Shohei Imamura has always delighted in the kinky exploits of lowlifes, and in this 1966 classic, he finds subversive humor in the bizarre dynamics of Haru, her Oedipal son, and her daughter, the true object of her pornographer boyfriend's obsession. Imamura's comic treatment of such taboos as voyeurism and incest sparked controversy when the film was released, but The Pornographers has outlasted its critics and now seems ahead of its time. So that's The Pornographers. And I think when I watched it, I thought it was okay. It didn't bowl me over. So there you go. That's a Japanese collection for you. I think, well, I mean, I'm looking at it across the room. Next up is Chinese movies. I should be able to go through those at fairly fast clip because I don't have a lot of those. I do see one over there that's basically, it's not set in Japan. I mean China rather. It's set in Japan, but I'll just include it with the Chinese movies, and it's a mini series, so we'll get to that, and then I have other movies as well. Other countries like Italy and France and Germany and Sweden. Some big name directors from those places. I got my box sets and miscellaneous stuff and other criterions and music stuff and odds and ends. So leave it at that. So I'll see you in the next video, hopefully soon.